Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Hello and welcome to the Skeptic Zone for the 28th of December 2013. Richard Saunders here with you, walking along the piers along the bay at San Francisco. Lovely, crispy sort of a day. I guess it's cloudy, a bit foggy maybe. I'm in the Bay Area for a little while over Christmas, having a bit of a break. So this episode of the Skeptic Zone, I guess, comes to you courtesy mostly of Maynard. Maynard's back at the National Convention, Maynard's spooky action. Going to be chatting to Shane Greenup all about the Rebutter Project. Rebutting things on the internet with maybe better information. Maynard also chats to some other people at the convention. Then after the break, it's a bit of a catch-up. Maynard goes back, or we're going to replay the predictions that skeptics made way back in January 2013 about the coming year. So let's see how accurate the skeptics were at predicting the year ahead. Now, just an addendum to last week's show. I seem to recall, looking at all those predictions made by psychics, somebody said that there'd be concern or some words to that effect around vaccinations from China. Now, at the time we did the overview, that really wasn't in the news, but in the last day or two I noticed there was something in the news regarding the concern about vaccinations or vaccines produced in China. So we might have to credit the the psychics with another hit there, which still brings their total to around about 5 or 5.5% correct, and not a sterling effort. Anyway, in interests of fairness, I thought I'd better mention that. So while I stroll down here, hello, flock of seagulls, pigeons, something flying in the sky. While I do that, I might hunt myself a nice clam chowder while you listen to the Skeptic Zone.
Here's Maynard's spooky action at a distance.
Well, we're here in the green room, so-called because, let me tell you, just before you go on stage and just after you come off stage at this conference, you look green. And you looked green earlier. Who are you?
I'm Shane Greenup.
You're the Rebutter Man. Look, I can see you guys doing a great grassroots campaign for this. The people that you need to talk to about Rebutter, you're talking to here at a Skeptics conference.
Yeah. Skeptics are everything to us because ultimately the whole concept of Rebutter is to, provide arguments and logical, rational arguments against claims, and that's what skeptics do. They find claims which are false and then explain why.
And just explain what Rebutter is just quickly to those people that might have missed it.
Okay, so it's a very simple concept. It's a browser plugin, so you install it into Chrome, and now we're just about to release Firefox. And then as you browse the internet, whenever you visit a page that makes a claim that has been disputed anywhere else on the internet by anyone else, hopefully we will have the connection made between the claim and the rebuttal, and we will pop up an alert and say this page has been disputed.
And what, so far on the internet, of all the pages that you know of that Rebutter's looked at, has been the most busy for rebuttals?
The most active we got was a study by Judy. There's a study into GMOs in some particular type of journal, and it was looking at rats. No, it wasn't rats. That was the Seralini study. Pigs fed GMO crops get ulcers in their stomach and die. The conclusion was like the heading of the study and the conclusion, and then the press release that was done. And we've got 27-something rebuttals to that article, based on the fact that the pig species chosen were ones that form ulcers naturally. And if you look at the stats, the numbers of the results a different way. The evidence shows that GMO-fed pigs actually have far better lifespans than the non-GMO-fed pigs. The study was very biased and interpreted a particular way. It had an obvious agenda. And that attracted a lot of attention and did the rounds for a long time.
Well, it sounds like an obvious use for rebuttal as well. That's exactly what it's there for.
Yeah, absolutely. So a study gets released, and it's quite clear that they had an intent from the beginning of the study, and the whole purpose was to get the press release out and have that press release do the rounds amongst all the blogs that are just going to copy it without any critical thought. And so, yeah, you need to quash that.
Now, we brought this issue up with a couple of the other skeptics here so far. Is basically your plug-in is actually going to make sure that you get very little sleep because you'll end up arguing with people 24/7. That's what this could lead to.
If you're a content producer, so the people that do the arguing are the people. Ideally, are the people that own the blogs or the podcasts or the vlogs, the YouTube channels that make these arguments. Because anyone can write comments in the comment field, but usually they're ignorable because there's just no investment in time. Anyone can write anything. But when you invest the time into owning your own blog and maintaining it and it being readable, there's some level of personal branding involved and things like that. So there's extra consideration, thought, time that goes into it. So it's only those people that do that are doing the arguing, and then all anyone else is doing is either finding those rebuttals and submitting them or accessing them. And then the people accessing them won't spend too much time reading them because they're not going to read the 50 different rebuttals. You just read the best. And hopefully you have got the best rebuttal, which is giving you the strongest argument that side has. So whether you agree with the rebuttal or not doesn't matter. If you disagree with the rebuttal, at least you have got the best argument that those people have, so that then if you want to respond, you're not responding to a straw man.
And tell me, you're getting out there telling people what rebuttal is, that's been done, and you're trying to get the message of why people should use it and why they should have it. What is the most compelling reason that you should have this great little argument starting, argument finishing plug-in on your browser?
So from a personal perspective, it's simply, our phrase we use on the Google Chrome store is get bias proofed, because it stops you from accidentally falling into I call them networks of agreeing websites. If you go to Natural News and you read that article and then you click through to the links that they recommend, they're going to be websites that agree with them. And then you follow the links of those websites and so on. And you can read 50 different websites and they all have the same perspective. And, no one listening to, Skeptic Zone is going to make that mistake with Natural News. But if you've never heard of something...
like Red Ice Radio, No Agenda, The High Side Chats, all good podcasts that I listen to, but not many skeptics would listen to them.
Yeah, and maybe they present, and you can fall into all the things that agree with them and never hear the other perspective saying that something that they disagree with. We're all vulnerable to falling into this confirmation bias sort of neighbourhood of websites. So that's the personal reason to do it.
Well, I'm not biased. I just like a goose up. I enjoy stuff that goes on either side. I love the hoppo bumpo goose up of life.
I have no idea what that means.
No, I don't either. I just say it to fill time.
And Amanda, did you say that she did?
Look, Amanda's over there with the tight spink at the moment because you're talking soon, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, this afternoon.
Yeah, it was the Tight Spinter Club. And actually, how does it feel after you've done the presentation? You're as loose as a goose now, aren't you?
Fantastic. I'm just chilling out, making fun of Amanda.
I know, yeah. So how does rebuttal go with philosophical points?
Very well, thank you.
And how does it go? And how does it go with political points, which are even more difficult to prove?
Well, that's it. This rebuttal is not about proving or necessarily the truth. It is about allowing a debate to occur. So you believe, someone makes a claim and asserts a truth, but someone disagrees. And that's worth finding out why. Whether you like the original claim or disagree with the original claim, why someone disagrees with it is important to know, because that helps you have a better understanding of why you agree with the original claim or why you disagree with the original claim. And then having a counter rebuttal to that rebuttal takes you even deeper. So you get more and more nuance and complexity about complex issues.
So for some people, as you were saying, rebuttal could be, the evidence is, the argument's finished. But for most people, particularly if it's not of a scientific type, it could be a lot more about the journey and a lot more about the learning.
Definitely. Particularly in the modern media age, which everyone focuses on the radio bites and simplification. The internet is... we've got Twitter for doing that, but when you go to the blogs and the opinion pieces in magazines and journals and newspapers, that space, and then being able to go from all of that text and going into a more nuanced explanation of it, and then a more nuanced one, to fight back those sound bites and to get into the details. So an example came to mind the other day when someone writes an article that says global warming is real and man-made. And they'll just assert it because it's true. It's what the scientists agree on. And then someone will respond to that saying, no, it's not, because global warming stopped 16 years ago. Here's the graph that proves it. Okay, that's out there. Everyone's seen that. And you look at that graph and you go, well, it sort of looks like we haven't warmed. And there's the evidence. Then the person that wrote the original article, or anyone, doesn't matter who, should respond to that and go into the nuances of why that graph is wrong. And it's not that. So by having that global warming stopped 16 years ago argument, it's not a bad thing to hear that. It sort of forces more detailed answers. And so for people that aren't quite sure, to then get that, I didn't see that coming, and then to get a deeper explanation of why that's actually wrong, takes them to a much better level of understanding, and thereby makes them sort of immunized against misinformation in the future.
Okay. So basically get Rebutter and get on it.
Absolutely. The internet can cause a loss of sleep.
That's true.
My favourite XKCD comic, are you coming to bed?
No, I'm on Rebutter.
No, someone is wrong on the internet. I don't think I'm the best communicator on earth, and I need to communicate this as well as possible. I really do think that education is the answer to just about every problem on the planet. In one way or another, you can teach someone enough, you teach them the right way, and it will correct erroneous thinking and correct believing that this will, achieve something when it won't.
Well, I believe that's the theory behind Steiner schools.
I don't know enough about Steiner schools, but and I should clarify that when I say education, I mean anything which brings people closer to the truth, the reality of the universe, and in their understanding. And so, what I see Rebutter is doing is fixing the internet, where the internet is the best equalizer we have of providing information to the world. Everyone has access to the same information, poor, rich. It's not completely equal, of course, but it's the best that we have for an entire global presence and everyone having access to information. The problem is the information is not necessarily good information.
Yeah, well, what if we slide to the lowest common denominator?
Yeah, so if people go in and keep accessing misinformation, then it brings everyone down. It's not a form of education, it's a form of uneducation. It's a misinforming of the population. So the problem is that the internet is a mix of good information and bad information, and people need to understand how to discern them. And that's where Rebutter comes in and fixes this subtle flaw of the internet, because it's such a powerful thing with this information superhighway informing everyone, but informing indiscriminately without control. And we can't censor it. It's impossible and counterproductive. We need to use that system to provide the information and teach people how to deal with that information. And if the system that we use with Rebutter is just a very simple way of doing that, because when people access a claim and then they're immediately able to access a rebuttal, that rebuttal typically is not only about the information, about climate change, about vaccination or whatever, but it's also about critical analysis. This is a logical fallacy of the form of special pleading. This is, equivocation. It teaches the reader.
Texas sharpshooter fallacy, my favourite fallacy. That's the one where you've already got the holes where he draws the target around the holes that he's already shot through.
Okay, then. Okay.
I guess it's a bit like cherry picking.
Yeah, barn door.
Yeah.
So teaching people how to deal with false information, because whether you like it or not, false information exists and it's going to continue to exist. And the best we can do with it is not hide it, but teach people how to interact with it so that they become more educated, closer to the truth for having dealt with it.
Of course, we're at a convention that deals with truths of many different kinds here. Is there actually a conspiracy that appears to be lacking in evidence, that you wish was actually true? You'd like it to be true? It'd be a hoot.
Yes. I think the Roswell incident. Because if we had have met aliens and it was being covered up, that's awesome, because that implies we've got all this technology underground. Maybe there's technology. Maybe there's just dead alien bodies. But
look, I like the whole idea about Eisenhower meeting an envoy from the aliens at an airfield sometime. That's a great story.
Yeah. And the implications of aliens having made contact is just awesome.
And of course, because I'm trying to get an incident going here. I've been trying to get every skeptics conference has an incident of some sort. But how about who is the unpopular Doctor Who? If there is a popular Doctor Who, obviously there must be an unpopular Doctor Who. I've worked it out. It has to be Colin Baker. I believe he was the sixth Doctor. No, the one with the frizzy hair. Man, he was punching people, and see, already we've got an issue going here now, and you've got a few thoughts on this.
Yeah, I've just gone through a whole cascade of thoughts. I was thinking the Eighth Doctor, the American spin-off. That's an easy target because sending the British series to America is always going to be unpopular. Mm-hmm. But have you ever gone back and watched the first season again?
What? Hang on, the black and white First Doctor.
Yeah. It's very much a product of its times. and it's really it's almost offensive to watch it the way, the female sidekick and their roles, and so it's like
fast forward a couple of decades and you've got Tom Baker running around in the tribal woman in her underwear.
Yeah, exactly. So if we want to judge things by modern standards, then maybe the earlier Doctors should be the most unpopular.
Okay. Well, look. I hope Roboto keeps going well. It's a tough sell in some ways because you're actually asking people to get involved in critical thinking here, which isn't always an easy sell. But I think points to you.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully we can break into the education realm where they're trying to teach kids this anyway, and just put a simple tool in front of them where they're just going to encounter it in daily life. Yeah, look,
I only use the browser Netscape 1.5. When will you be developing for that?
May 3rd, 2015.
Look, I was just standing here and someone thrust a copy of a book from the 90s that I wrote into my hands for me to sign. Who have we got here?
It's Joe Alabaster.
Oh, look, thank you. So I haven't seen that book for a while. I've got a couple of copies in my garage, but I didn't think anyone actually had any. You obviously live by it.
Obviously, yes.
Yes, Maynard's Guide to DAG. So, look, it sold a couple of thousand copies. That's the thing that no one ever believes me.
I'm sceptical.
And it's only my first book.
You have others?
And that is the correct answer. Now, well, have you found the dinner here tonight?
It's been quite nice, actually. Very pleasant.
Yes, it's been. And look, didn't those Daleks, those inflatable Daleks, went for a lot of money?
They seemed to depreciate a little bit when they got signed, actually, which I found quite confusing.
Yeah, okay, there. Look, it's early to bed for me tomorrow because it's a big day of skeptical interviews tomorrow.
Indeed.
Yes, and what do you got planned for tomorrow?
I'm particularly looking forward to the philosophy talks, Mike McRae and Patrick Stokes. Okay, I think they'll be great.
Make sure you get your sleep or it won't make much sense.
I'll do my best.
Look, we just had the auction here at the dinner, and I'm speaking with a few of the bidders here. What did you bid on and get, sir?
I bid on the George Schraub DVD and a photo of James Randi.
Okay, now, of course, I'm a big fan of the DVD. I like the opening track, When I Was Your Age. It's a great song.
One of the classics. That and Far and all the other brilliant songs. He's a wonderful person and a fantastic singer-songwriter.
Yeah, I was looking at you and you perked up when you saw the DVD and you were ready with the cash.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not going to let this one go.
Now, all you've got to do is collect it now and take it home safely.
I will do that.
Of course, revealed on stage at the Conspiracy Con that we're at was Peter, Mr. Ratbag. What were you doing out there?
I was simply exposing a conspiracy which nobody else knows about except me. So it's in fact that tight as... and obviously the people who did it.
A conspiracy that no one else knows about except you would also fit the pattern of something that is completely delusional.
Obviously the people that did the work in the first place and are suppressing it all, they know. I've just applied my investigative skills to it and cracked in to find out how it was done.
So you busted open the big Snowy River Mountain conspiracy scheme.
That's right, and I've looked at it. Can anybody prove to me that those tunnels in the Snowy Mountains are actually full of water? No, they can't. They can't prove anything about it. And so that's why I love it as a conspiracy theory, because it just fits all the dates and all the times and all the facts.
So how are you going to propagate this theory?
I have actually mentioned it to people at Nexus magazine.
Mr. Ratbag, you're mucking around.
Don't want to publish it.
Hang on. So actually, you've actually had something rejected by Nexus magazine.
No, I haven't submitted it to them.
Oh, right.
I think I'm going to write it up and submit it, because I can imagine it would be wonderful on my CV. I've been published here, published here, published here, published in Nexus.
I mean, the Nexus is a pretty good read. It is a pretty out there publication.
Yeah, I actually checked it once, and I found that actually the page numbers were all in sequence. And so there actually is some truth in it.
Oh, well, Peter, you so now. What is the one conspiracy theory that appears lacking in evidence, but you would really like to be true, Peter, Mr. Ratbag?
That's actually a difficult one.
I mean, and of course we do have real conspiracies, like the movie The Light Bulb Project showed out. I mean, there is planned obsolescence to a certain extent in everyday devices. That's a conspiracy, because all the companies do that.
Conspiracies are all sorts of things. I mean, we've just uncovered this one, a conspiracy to tap the phones of the president of Indonesia. Now, we know that spies do this sort of thing. Theoretically, nobody ever finds out. People talk about what they do. But this is a particular case where somebody's leaked, some information's come out, and they found that the conspiracy stuff about spy organisations tapping everybody's phones is true.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Because everyone should be outraged. The government who organised this should have fallen, but everyone's like, okay, it's weird. Why aren't people angry about that?
I think with that one of the jobs of a spy organisation, people think it's all military secrets. It's not. It's commercial secrets. It's knowing about how much people have paid, what people have bid for other projects, what people have bid for wheat in some other country.
Well, it's also being in a position to blackmail people so you can get them to do stuff for you as well.
I hope we're not accusing ASIO of that.
No, I'm sure that they would never do that.
Well, I'd never say that in Canberra.
That's more the job of the Signals Intelligence Unit anyway, isn't it?
Well, I'm saying no more in Canberra. I'm going to try and leave this place tomorrow. And I don't want to have to look at every car that passes me on the Hume Highway to say, am I about to be Karen Silkwood off the road here?
See, you know your stuff, Pete. No wonder you're able to get up there and give a convincing lecture.
Thank you.
Now, of course, it's Doctor Who night tonight. Doctor Who is the theme of the Skeptical Dinner tonight. I didn't know that until 5 minutes ago, so I will be wearing a paper bag on my head or something. Who do you think is the unpopular Doctor? The Doctor who is the least popular?
Well, I am actually an exception in the skeptical movement, in that I'm not a Doctor Who fan.
What? You're more of a Star Trek guy? Or, no, let me guess, Blake Seven. You'd be a Blake Seven fan.
More Red Dwarf, but...
Oh, okay, fair enough then. Yeah, right. So people are going to be making references to Stu all night. You'll have no idea what they're talking about.
I'm actually not coming to the dinner, basically because I didn't want to be in that embarrassing position of having to continually nod at people and go,
Oh, okay.
Like when you're talking to your favourite aunt about stuff you've heard before and pretending they knew what they were talking about. Yeah?
Look, I'm sure you'll be drunk somewhere else in Canberra tonight.
There is a possibility of that. In fact, I'm trying to find some people to conspire with to actually organise this.
You've argued against the same woo so many times you can do it in your sleep. Quit trying to stop the nonsense one person at a time. Join Guerrilla Skepticism on Wikipedia. Help us make sure the best skeptical information is always at everyone's fingertips. We need writers, editors, translators. We need you. And take as much or as little time as you can give us. Help us make Wikipedia as accurate as it can be, and you'll literally be helping people while you sleep. To join us or find out more, send a Facebook friend request to Susan Gerbic. That's Gerbic. Guerrilla Skepticism. The time is now.
And now a few little notes, bits and pieces. Wollongong Skeptics in the Pub. Yes, Wollongong Skeptics in the Pub. They're going to be meeting on Tuesday, December the 31st at 7 p.m. Wow, that's an interesting time to meet. I wonder if that might lead to some New Year's Eve celebrations. Probably will. They meet at Dicey Riley's, which is 333 Crown Street in Wollongong. And you can find out more by Googling Wollongong Skeptics in the Pub. I really must get down to Wollongong one day and join in on that. And talking about Skeptics in the Pub, the Sydney Skeptics in the Pub has a new meeting place. Well, it's an old new meeting place. Sydney Skeptics in the Pub are moving back to the Crown Hotel. the Crown Hotel, and in January we'll be meeting on the 9th of January. For more information, just Google Sydney Skeptics in the Pub. It's on Meetup. So no longer at the Mez Bar in Sydney. We're moving back to the Crown Hotel. And a quick shout out to a good friend of mine, Spoonie Quinn. Hi Spoonie, who's been doing some wonderful drawings visualising the crew of the Solar Flare, the audio adventure the Skeptic Zone produced earlier in the year. Spoonie, it's very flattering. Captain Saunders there on the bridge of the Solar Flare and the crew being attacked by flying monkeys. It's fantastic. Thanks very much, Spoonie. You're great. It's nice to know people are listening in.
Hey, this is Jay Novella from the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe podcast. Did you know that there are thousands of skeptical reports, interviews, and investigations going back to 1981, free to download? Just visit www.skeptics.com.au. Click the publications link and enjoy almost every back issue of The Skeptic, the journal from Australian Skeptics. You can also subscribe online and get the latest digital or hard copy of this, the world's second oldest skeptical magazine. That's www.skeptics.com.au or just Google Australian Skeptics.
And now join us in January 2013 with Maynard at Sydney Skeptics in the Pub when he asks the skeptics what are their predictions for the year 2013.
I'm here at perhaps the most gifted people as far as like seeing the future possibly ever could be. It's Skeptics in the Pub. I predict that fairly shortly I'll go to the bar yet again and be refused service. But, you know, that's a repeating kind of thing. Like time is in a circle, as we all know. It's not in a straight line. Around you've got at least a crystal ball that we've spoken about. What do you got as predictions for 2013? Put your money where your crystal ball is.
Okay, well, I predict that Bert Newton will have a health scare and his son will have a legal scare. I predict that there will be an election in Australia in 2013. I think Tony Abbott will win. Yeah, I can make that prediction. Why not?
The word uncanny comes to mind. And budgie smugglers, that also comes to mind.
I think I can't think of anything else right now. I've got budgie smugglers in my mind now.
Look, we've got Jessica over here.
Oh, yes. Just...
By the way, this is not Jessica the astrologer, by the way, too. A lot of people get you mixed up. This is Jessica the skeptic.
Oh, I get mixed up with an astrologer. How exciting.
Jessica Adams. So she's been on the show before. She's my favourite Australian astrologer.
You'll be much more accurate than she is, I'll tell you that.
Oh, well, I'm going to think big. I'm going to think tsunami. I'm going to think earthquake. I'm going to think volcano.
But why are you going so big? I mean, Jessica Adams, the psychic, only said that The Great Gatsby would be a hit. I mean, why don't you go with something like that? So are you saying that The Great Gatsby won't be a hit?
No, I'm sure The Great Gatsby will be a fantastic hit, but I like a grand scale to things. I like a global perspective. I like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, actually, we've got someone. Who we got here?
This is Peter Bowditch. I also made a quite specific one, and I think I'll make this again for 2013. That there will be tsunamis or earthquakes and floods that affect 9 countries with an A in the name.
But again, I mean, people could say, like you were accused of, you're being a bit obvious there. You're actually thinking about what might happen and saying it. That's not prediction.
I predicted the wedding of William and Kate.
Yeah?
Yeah, I predicted that.
Well, have you got any celebrity predictions for us?
Celebrity predictions for this year? I predict, and I don't want to name people because it puts a hex on their marriages and that.
Let me ask, a guy whose name starts with M may leave the ABC under controversial circumstances. Is that what you're about to say?
That's always on the cards, that one, isn't it? Hardly worth predicting at all. Now, what I'm going to predict is that at least two high-profile Hollywood couples will separate. Within 2 weeks of the separation being announced, one of them will be seen in the company of another person, and there will be immediate denial to that person had anything to do with the breakup.
I think you should have stuck with there'll be rumours of things going astray. I mean, because that's about as likely as that one.
I could predict an election in Australia, but I think that, that's pretty... I won't predict the outcome of elections because I don't want to influence the outcome of elections.
Oh, yeah, well, that is possible.
No, so there will be an election, but I'm not going to predict... I'm going to predict, however, that it'll be a close election.
Okay. So
not as close as the last one.
So you're saying there's like a Heisenberg principle of elections going on here, that if you, say who might win, that will actually affect the outcome?
Oh, I think that's certainly the case. I've done this in the past.
Well, thank you, oh great sage. And I mean that in the
I know what sage is. It's some kind of herby stuff you put inside chickens.
That's right, yeah. Let's go smoke some sage.
Good idea.
Look, I'm here with Tim Meadham. Hi, Tim, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Maynard.
Now, I can see that you're affected by the great sage as well tonight.
Absolutely. Which particular great sage? We're talking about beer?
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely, yes.
That's right. You've been affected by the great hops.
I've been studying the great hops for many years, actually. I regard myself as a bit of an expert.
You've seen a lot of predictions in your time. Have there actually been any predictions by astrologers or psychics that have actually been on the money that have surprised you in being correct?
There have been some that are on the money, but they don't surprise you. If you make enough predictions, something somewhere is going to come true. But most of the predictions are pretty rubbish. Right? They're so vague and so general that they could apply to anything. And I've dealt with a lot of people who have come forward to me and sort of say they're psychics. My favourite one who came to me and could not tell me what my name was, even though I told her what my name was. And I said hi.
Well, that's not psychic, that's just deaf.
Well, I'd answer the phone to her and say, hi, it's Tim Meadham from the Skeptics. And she'd come back about 3 minutes later and say, your name is Alan. I say, no, it's Keith. No. I said, I told you what my name was. And she said, don't tell me. I said, well, what do you have told? And this happened several phone calls in a row. This poor lady was sort of obviously the world's worst psychic.
And she was ringing you for the challenge, for the 10,000?
She was ringing for the challenge and sort of generally to impress me with how good she was at being psychic, making predictions.
Actually, what would impress you from a psychic? I mean, how would you basically set up a test that would work, that would keep you happy? I mean, simply, how would you run it?
Are you talking predictions? Psychic predictions?
If you were testing a psychic, what protocol would you put in place to do it accurately and quickly? Just simply, is there an answer to the way you do it?
Well, yeah, I mean, sort of the prediction side is pretty hard, actually, because a lot of people make predictions, psychic predictions, way out in the future, and you say, well, I can't wait 10 years to see if something's going to happen. That's what this psychic I'm talking to actually tried to do. I said, give me a particular time frame, make a very, very precise prediction, like, don't just say there's going to be an earthquake, pick a place, a time, a strength, that sort of thing, right? Even so, earthquakes happen every minute of every day. But I mean, I need something very, very precise. I need a time frame which is precise, and basically that would be interesting to start with. But you need a number of those. With a general sort of psychic, you just go through the normal sort of parapsychology tests, but you do them properly under controlled conditions and that sort of thing. But the prediction stuff is fun. A lot of people sort of follow it, but then never follow up on it, and that's the problem, right? But I mean, we do it because we're spoil sports.
Now, I have spoken to Jessica Adams a few times, and she has spirit guides, and she explains that the predictions aren't completely accurate because in this realm we aren't meant to have that kind of accuracy given to us from other people. Because if we did that, and particularly when it comes to things like creating wealth for ourselves, that there would be something wrong with that within the realms.
Okay, so that's in response to the question, if you know all these things, why aren't you rich?
Yeah.
Why can't you win the lotto or the horse race or that's predict the Melbourne Cup? It's a nice out, isn't it? It allows... No, it's an out. It's a pure out now. It's a way to sort of avoid being proved wrong because you don't never make accurate predictions or, precise predictions.
I can tell you've encountered that one before.
Yeah, quite a lot. I've also encountered, though, people who make firm predictions, and I've had someone who made a lot recently about the weather and the floods in Brisbane, etc., after the fact. But when they made these predictions, and I pointed out that the ones they were saying would come true in the future had not come true, they would then criticise me for being so picky, basically. I mean, there's always an excuse. They will never admit they're wrong.
And look, speaking of being wrong, in the recent episode of The Skeptic, you criticised two of the greats, Charles Berlitz and Eric von Daniken, in the same paragraph. I believe you used words as unsubstantiated evidence. Get under the house. Hit the guy's got Gold of the Gods, Return to the Stars, Chariots of the Gods. 3 books. What more do you want?
Excuse me, Chariots of the Gods, question mark. He had a question mark at the end of it. If you notice, the book is always a question mark. My favourite thing about Eric von Daniken is I don't know if everyone notices.
He's a Scotch drinker. You've got to respect that.
He tried to be impressive by having a pipe, but he never actually lit the pipe. He was there on TV with his pipe in his mouth making pontificating statements, but there was never a light.
Come on. If you were filming a guy inside a small house, would you want him to be piping it up? And did he have a leather patch on his because Carl Sagan used to try that one on.
I think he had a suede coat with leather patches on him. Then again, I'm the sort of person who had leather patches on a woolen jumper. Just to be different.
I think I'll let you get back to the great sage, the great hops.
Thank you very much, mate. It's calling me a lot. Okay.
Come here, Tim. Drink for me.
It wins.
Look, it's January Skeptics in the pub, and as you all know, there's plenty of skeptics sitting on top of Christmas trees and baubles around at this time of year. It's a relaxed skeptic at the pub. There's actually no speaker or anyone doing anything. It's just basically skeptics at the pub and doing what they do at the pub, celebrating in the sort of alcoholic kind of way. Who have we got here?
I'm Nick.
And look, you haven't got any predictions for 2013, have you? You decided to back away from that kind of thing?
Well, I'm not sure. I wouldn't hold them with any certainty. One prediction I would have is if Tony Abbott does win the federal election, I think he's going to have a leadership spill fairly soon afterwards, because I think the number of free thinkers and intelligent people would not stand for the kind of politics.
And would the initials MC be anywhere in there?
Quite possibly.
Right, so we're going to have a rapper as the head of the Liberal Party. Look, it's Rebel MC. That'd be good. That'd be great. I love that. MC Hammer. That'd be fantastic.
I'm not sure. That could hold well with the electorate.
No, I think this is a bold. I think we can look forward to having those MC Hammer pirate pants stuff going on in Parliament. That'd be fantastic. That'd solve the whole skirts or shorts debate. Everyone could just wear their MC Hammer pants in the House of Speakers.
Whatever happens, I'm sure it'll be a departure from the norm of the past.
Okay. Well, we'll see you at the next meeting, hopefully. Look, now we're here at Skeptics in the Pub. Who we got here?
I'm George.
Now, you do have some predictions for 2013.
Yes, I do. I believe that a celebrity will get cancer, an Australian politician will say something ludicrously uninformed, and a beloved animal will go extinct.
That's pretty cool. Now, a beloved animal of this country, or?
A beloved animal.
Right, okay. Do you want to make any more really out there ones? I mean, we had Jessica, the great sage Jessica over there earlier, predicting volcanoes, earthquakes, like large cataclysms happening. If you want to go on something right there?
I believe that somewhere on Earth a meteor will hit the ground and become a meteorite.
Brave moves, my man. Okay, we're going to write them in the book right now.
Go ahead.
You want some money on this?
Well, we don't have any. I'll put $5 on at least one of them happening.
You haven't got a feeling about any employees of the ABC, have you?
I believe someone's going to get fired.
The Hansard is a podcast of the monthly lectures run by Canberra Skeptics Incorporated. Each month, Canberra Skeptics provides experts in their field, ranging from science and philosophy to politics and national security, with an opportunity to present their views. You can find us at www.canberraskeptics.org.au. The Hansard, Canberra Skeptics' Record of Reason.
Did you see that UFO sighting that made the news? What did that latest study about alternative treatments really say? Is this photo making the rounds real or a hoax? Doubtful News is a unique website featuring news about pseudoscience, the paranormal, anomalies, and questionable claims framed with a skeptical view. Come visit doubtfulnews.com every day for news about cryptozoology, conspiracies, shams, scams, and more. Follow us on Twitter at Doubtful News. Critical thinking is essential in assessing today's news. Doubtful News helps you decide, can you really believe this stuff?
Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone. I wonder what's on next week's show. Oh, next week will be the first Skeptic Zone for 2014. Another year ahead. I wonder what predictions will be coming forth for 2013. 14 as the traffic streams by, all heading down to Fisherman's Wharf, I think. Or there's Coit Tower in the background. And with the, oh hello, I'm coming up to the ferry building. The giant clock on there says 20 to 4. A nice afternoon in San Francisco. Until next week. This is Richard Saunders signing off from San Francisco, California.
You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone. Visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for comments, contacts, and extra video reports.